Straight ahead on 12 News, paying more for roads. Hennepin County commissioners approve a new tax hike. Then, busy trying to beat the heat.
Oh, we're just swamped. We got endless calls coming in.
But first, new developments regarding accusations of police brutality against a Brooklyn Park cop. 12 News starts right now. It was 2007 when a police camera recorded a Brooklyn Park officer repeatedly hitting a man after a traffic stop.
Now a group trying to stop police brutality is calling for the dismissal of that officer. According to Communities United Against Police Brutality, 31 complaints from 30 people have come forward against Sergeant Greg Burstad. Today, Burstad is back on the job after serving a 5-day suspension, a suspension the group says was far too light. Communities United Against Police Brutality released this video obtained from Brooklyn Park Police showing the incident in question. The video shows the suspect putting his hands in the air. The group says Officer Burstad then punched the suspect in the head about 20 times. They believe Burstad should be charged with felony assault.
There is nothing reasonable about battering and beating a man who has already submitted, has already held his hands up, he's surrendered. There is no reasonable use of force in a situation like that whatsoever.
The group also accuses Burstad of lying in the police report about the incident seen in the videotape, and they say nothing was documented on the punches. The police department says it did conduct a 9-month internal review of 106 potential policy violations involving Burstad. Brooklyn Park Police say only 8 of the allegations had merit. Brooklyn Park Police also released a written statement on Burstad, calling him, quote, a highly decorated patrol officer and detective. And they say Burstad has been admired for his ability to build trusting relationships with community members and, in particular, the minority community and at-risk youth. Now, according to the police brutality group, the accusations extend beyond Brooklyn Park. They claim 2 veteran Crystal police officers received unfair discipline for blowing the whistle on Burstad during his time with the Metro Gang Strike Force. Crystal Police Chief Stephanie Revering could not comment on the matters, citing state labor confidentiality laws.
A Twin Cities Daycare's planned expansion into Maple Grove is now on hold. That's because of a federal immigration investigation into undocumented workers. Harden Mahiko had planned to move into the old Maple Grove Library building. The daycare currently has locations in Minneapolis and in Edina. Parents were told that as many as 60 teachers and staff left the daycare chain after immigration officials requested further information on their employment eligibility. The investigation is part of a routine audit. Harden Mahiko says it is fully cooperating.
It'll cost more to renew your license tabs in Hennepin County next year, but the condition of county roads should improve. The county board approved a $10 so-called wheelage tax. Supporters say the money is needed to bring roads and bridges back into high-quality shape and to take pressure off property taxes. Opponents call the tax regressive and say the county already collects enough money. The tax takes effect on January 1st. The National Weather Service has issued a heat advisory for the Twin Cities metro area.
Our Sonia Goins found a lot of people trying to beat the heat.
The bright sun rays beaming through the leaves are pretty, but this scenery turned ugly as the mercury crept up into the 90s.
When you get these big warm patterns, it's a lot of heat, and a lot of times they come with a lot of humidity, as we're going to see this week.
To put it simple, it's hot and downright sticky.
I don't like it.
Rain or shine, Eric Nagoski has to deliver the mail on his Golden Valley route.
My whole route is 625 probably.
You could see the sweat beading on his forehead, and this was around 10 in the morning. So how are you beating this heat?
You don't really. Drink a lot of water.
The hot weather is not only taking a toll on man, but machine as well.
Oh, we're just swamped. We got endless calls coming in.
At Golden Valley Heating and Air, employees are working overtime responding to AC problems.
And they're running constantly when the temperatures are this high. So you just get a lot of usage off the units, and just tends to put a big load and stress on the units.
Instead of seeing orange, MnDOT crews are seeing red as they try to beat the heat.
We've got crews facing dehydration from not getting enough water when they're on the job. The other real concern for us is people that might end up with heat exhaustion.
They're not the only ones trying to cool down.
The humidity, yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah, that's looking good. So we get something cold, help us chill down, cool off a little bit.
Those guys had the right idea. There's nothing like ice cream on a hot day, especially a dilly bar, because a dilly bar makes everything better. In Robbinsdale, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
Yeah, that's kind of true. There's a bonus, too, to living in the suburbs. The National Weather Service says the temperatures are usually 5 degrees cooler than in downtown Minneapolis because there are less buildings for the sun to bounce off of. Extreme heat can cause a variety of health issues, though, if you're not careful.
And in today's Health Check report, Elaine Cleveland shows us a tool that state health officials hope people will use to help cope with these hot summer days.
The Blaine USA Cup, my daughter's playing right now.
On a hot, sunny day at the National Sports Center in Blaine.
Japan is like on their passes, and our girls are just chasing the ball.
More than 1,000 teams from 17 states and 17 countries battle it out on the soccer fields at the 29th annual Schwann's USA Cup. Kim Larson set up underneath this tree.
It's the closest shade next to the soccer fields.
To watch her daughter's team play against Japan.
I sat in the sun for about 5 minutes. Then I moved to the shade.
A spot in the shade is prime real estate during the dog days of summer. Robert Shimoda brought a whole tent to keep cool.
When I first came out here thinking I'm not going to put it up, and I was out here for 2 minutes. And I said, that's it, it's coming up.
Talked to officials from the Minnesota Department of Health.
We're thinking about how people can stay cool, and we're kind of watching what will happen in the next couple days.
And they'll stress the importance of finding a cool place to be.
Heat can be really serious. It can cause a lot of illness. In very severe cases, it can cause death.
To explain the seriousness of extreme heat, Katie Muhi helped develop this toolkit.
It has some of the symptoms of heat illness in case you weren't sure. It also talks about best strategies to prevent heat illness.
Some of those strategies include staying hydrated with water and taking breaks if you're active outside.
I packed her 3 water bottles and some ice. So hopefully she'll be okay.
Unfortunately for Larson, staying hydrated doesn't guarantee competitive play.
Our poor girls are just getting reamed out there.
For Health Check, Elaine Cleveland, 12 News.
Well, the Minnesota Extreme Heat Toolkit is free, and you can download it on our website, 12.tv. Coming up, a big challenge for many military veterans, and that's finding a job.
How an event in Brooklyn Center, though, aims to help. And later in sports, Jay Wilcox has the remarkable story of a local triathlete in the series. Give it a try.
But first, it's your AccuWeather forecast. There are more than 370,000 veterans currently living in Minnesota.
The unemployment rate for veterans has dropped in the last few years, but there's still many struggling to find work. When Minnesota's deployed soldiers finish their jobs overseas, many return home to a new mission.
I'm looking for something in the business intel field.
The challenge of finding a job.
We work with all veterans, but a lot of our resources has been turned toward veterans of recent conflict.
That's because the unemployment rate among post-9/11 veterans is several points higher than the statewide rate of just over 5%.
I'm an intelligence officer, so anything that would be in the analytical or managerial realm is really what I'm looking for.
Major Steve Moyer's full-time job with the Minnesota National Guard ends October 1st.
Hi, how are you? Steve Moyer.
After 3 tours in Iraq, he's here in Brooklyn Center for this state-sponsored Veterans Job Fair.
That translation of military to civilian is sometimes a struggle.
Here there are jobs available and services to help soldiers translate that military experience into workplace language.
Those are some of the things we do in the workforce centers, is help veterans kind of get to that point where they're ready for the search.
New Hope-based manufacturing company LDI has hired 18 veterans since last year.
They are a great pipeline of talent. They are dedicated, they are loyal, they come to work every day, and they're just a really fun bunch of individuals to incorporate into our organization.
Especially among younger veterans, the challenge is matching skills to job requirements.
If you're interested, I will steer you on to somebody here.
Major Steve Moyer is grateful he and other soldiers have some help in the search. For more information on hiring veterans and job resources for veterans, you can visit positivelyminnesota.com. Coming up, how a Robbinsdale family takes their summers to the road.
But first in sports, Wayzata High School gets ready for new turf at its stadium. Jay Wilcox is in next. Another big day of soccer at the USA Cup, and then some pomp and ceremony tonight as they march in with all the flags from all over the world.
And let's hope that everybody's still standing by the end
Yeah,
of
right.
days like today out there
Nice
playing
and
soccer
hot.
too, right? Opening ceremonies are tonight, Tuesday, for the 29th annual USA Cup Youth Soccer Tournament. Most of the 500-plus teams started play in the heat earlier today. A slight breeze, the only saving grace at the National Sports Center. In U19 boys action, Wayzata Pterodactyl against the Yukon Strikers. First half, Wayzata's Jake Sherman with the corner, headed in by Jake Raska for a 1-0 lead. The second half, a good chance for the Yukon team, but Wayzata goalie Michael Milan makes a nice save. He ends up with a shutout as Wayzata wins this one 1-0. Hopkins High School just completed a turf field replacement, and another Lake Conference school is not far behind. Players and fans of Wayzata High School football and soccer will be treated to a new playing surface this fall. Field Turf, the same company that put in the first turf field at Wayzata 13 years ago, is preparing the field for one of their newest products in turf, one that should hold up better under the sun.
What they've done a better job of is they made the fiber more resistant to the sun we're having this summer. So it's an extruded piece. They loop it back through just like you would on your carpet at home, and they truly believe it'll last longer. And we got 13 years out of it. If we get 13 again, we'll be pretty pleased.
Improvements at Wayzata are also being made for track and field athletes with pits for the long and triple jumps, plus the pole vault now moved inside the refenced stadium.
This way we can spend less time putting up and taking down the pits, give kids more time to train. Make it a better viewing area for a meet. Feel like the pole vault's included as part of the track meet instead of sitting outside the fence. And then we also brought in the triple jump, long jump pits, redid those, leveled them off, made them bigger, put in takeoff boards, which is something we didn't have, and again, fenced around the outside so it's included inside the stadium.
Construction on the new field will continue for another 2 weeks or so and should be finished in time for captain's practice for fall sports on August 5th. Well, it's a warm week for local triathletes, but they're still getting workouts in. On this week's edition of our Give It a Try series, I catch up with an extraordinary athlete. This week on Give It a Try, we meet a Rogers man who has to work extra hard to train and compete. He's a true Iron Man. Meet Sam Tabaka of Rogers, who has completed 2 Ironmans. That's a 2.4-mile swim, 112 miles on his hand cycle, and a full 26-mile marathon in his racing wheelchair. And he's training for a 3rd Ironman in August.
So I'll probably do 3 bike rides a week, one that's long, probably anywhere from 70 to 90 miles. And then I'll swim twice a week, usually once in the pool, once in the lake. And then I'll do 1 push or run. Of course, it's all upper body for me. So I swim on my back. I have a special wetsuit that I use. It's a custom made. There's only about 10 of them that have been produced. And then I use my hand cycle. I've got a high performance racing hand cycle, and I use that for the bike ride, and then I use a racing wheelchair for the marathon.
An ATV accident at age 13 left Tabaka paralyzed. He did his first triathlon in 2005 using a borrowed racing chair from the Courage Center and has been hooked since. Here's Sam's self-rankings in each event on a 1 to 5 scale.
I haven't been a swimmer for very long, so I think I'll give myself a 3 on the swimming. I'm decent enough at it to get through the race and get it done. I wouldn't say that I'm real fast, so I'll say a 3. For cycling, probably my strongest of the 3 events, I'll say 4 for cycling. Probably enjoy that the most. Probably my weakest area is the racing wheelchair. For whatever reason, it's just not my strongest event. As I continue to improve and go for better times, I'll probably have to work on this more. But I'd say a 2 for the racing wheelchair.
He's undoubtedly an inspiration to some, and Sam Tabaka still has some goals to reach as a triathlete. Sam will compete in Duluth next weekend and at Ironman Louisville in August. To suggest a triathlete from the northwest suburbs for our series, send me an email at jwilcox at 12.tv. And what an impressive guy. He just gets out there and does it.
Yeah.
He doesn't think a lot about it, just has a routine down and goes after it.
Wish him luck. Up next, a Robbinsdale family takes camping to a whole new level.
We'll be right back.
And finally, a Robbinsdale family puts a new spin on a favorite American pastime.
The Cunninghams started a blog devoted to camping. 12 News reporter Carissa Wyant has more on their unique adventures.
You get to spend more time with the kids and doing family stuff.
Here in the land of 10,000 lakes, just ask the Cunningham family.
Well, the kids bond really well when we're camping compared to when we're at home.
You guys like playing in here too?
Yeah! No!
Here they're camping out at the Ham Lake Campground.
You're all together here, and you can spend real quality time together here. We can
Yeah.
take out board games, yard games. Today we're going to go check out the animals.
Enjoying life away from the daily grind.
You don't have work, you don't have a broken dishwasher, you don't have mowing, you don't have all those distractions.
We have running water in a sink, a stove and oven, microwave. We have lots and lots of storage. You would be surprised how much we could fit in here.
This Robbinsdale family of 7 started BeyondTheTent.com, a camping website to chronicle their adventures.
You ever sit down at your house and you look through your old photo albums, you're like, oh, that was fun, that was fun. On the blog, it's like a photo album on steroids.
Each weekend, the Cunninghams load up the camper and head out into the wild. They review campgrounds and try out camping products and gear, posting reviews on their webpage.
It's a photo album mixed with video, mixed with our thoughts about the trip we took.
The Cunninghams website has a lot of information, things like tips, how-tos, information on how to keep family camping affordable, and practical things like spotting poison ivy and what to do if you get it.
The reason we did this is we wanted to go camping more.
That's true.
We wanted to camp in a camper, and we wanted to get out with the family and have a blast doing it.
And from the looks of it, that's exactly what's happening.
I hope when they get older, they'll remember this and take their families camping.
In Ham Lake, Carissa Wyant, 12 News.
The Cunninghams say they love to get ideas from the public on where to go or what to review, and if you have any suggestions, you can go to our website, 12.tv. That's a nifty idea,
Those
isn't it?
kids are going to be smart campers when they grow up to be
Oh,
adults.
yeah.
Learn a few tricks.
Cute kids now, too. That's it for now. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone.
Community Corner is coming up next.